Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are staring down a statistic that is fundamentally redefining what a long-term partnership even looks like in the 21st century.
It's a big one.
It's a number that has been making waves everywhere. Social media, news analysis, it's a global conversation.
It is a striking and, an undeniably huge figure. We're seeing multiple studies, demographic projections, all indicating that by the year 2030,
Which is not far away.
not far at all, a massive 45% of women will be single. And when you look at that trend line, it just throws everything we thought we knew into question.
Everything. Marriage, dating culture, the future of the family unit itself. And when you encounter a number that large, you immediately get these two sort of competing interpretations, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. On one side, you have this narrative of empowerment.
Right, that this is a sign of immense freedom of choice, women building lives completely on their own terms.
But then you have the flip side, the cultural warning sign.
The alarm bells.
Exactly. Some analysts look at this trend and see growing social disconnect, maybe a crisis of compatibility. And they worry, pretty intensely about what that means for society, for birth rates.
Right, all those knock-on effects. So our mission in this deep dive is to really look past those polarized headlines.
We need to get to the drivers.
Exactly. Let's unpack the economic and cultural forces that are actually causing this realignment. What does it say about female autonomy and how traditional expectations have just shifted, giving women this chance to build the lives they've always wanted?
With or without a partner.
With or without a partner. We're looking at what happens when partnership moves from a necessity to, well, a completely elective experience.
That's the core of it. That is the rewrite happening right now.
Okay, let's unpack this core driver, because I think everything starts with this foundational decision. This generation is making an active choice for independence.
It's a conscious choice. For centuries, marriage was often the very first, critical milestone, the expected path into adulthood.
Something you did early.
Very early. But that traditional timeline, it's been completely erased. We've seen this generational overhaul where women are prioritizing their career, their education, entrepreneurship, personal growth, all years before even thinking about settling down.
So the goalposts have moved. It's not about finding a partner to start your life with anymore.
No. The goal is achieving financial stability and, just as importantly, personal fulfillment before you even consider committing to a long-term partnership.
And that delay has these huge ripple effects, right?
Yeah.
It means marriage, having kids.
Yeah.
It all happens much later.
Or sometimes not at all, because that stability is now being achieved individually first. And this is all powered by a massive economic transformation.
More opportunities.
Way more. More women are in professional fields, gaining access to high-earning jobs that were historically, pretty limited.
And that reduction in dependency, I feel like that is the foundational shift we have to grasp.
It is critical. Think about it. Historically, partnership offered a very distinct economic safety net. Today, when a woman has the means to confidently buy her own home, pay her bills, manage her own investments, the entire nature of partnership changes.
You're saying it moves from being a contract of, let's say, necessity,
Yes.
where two people merge resources just to get by, to a pure contract of choice.
Exactly. When you are economically independent, you stop looking for a relationship based on utility or security. You're looking for companionship, for true compatibility, for shared growth.
So autonomy is the engine here.
It's the engine that allows women to treat partnership as this optional, high-value addition to a life that's already complete.
Not a necessary part of the structure.
Not at all.
That makes perfect sense. And, of course, when partnership is an optional high-value addition, well, the bar for entry goes way up.
Way up.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because this generation isn't just waiting for a relationship. They're being hyper-selective. They're waiting for the right one.
They absolutely hold higher expectations. And the sources we've looked at show this isn't superficial stuff. It's a deep, holistic vetting process.
Okay, so tell us what's on that checklist. What are the non-negotiables for this self-sufficient woman of 2030?
Well, the primary requirements all seem to center on emotional maturity.
Okay.
They're looking for high emotional intelligence, effective communication skills, that's a huge one,
Yeah.
and proactive financial responsibility.
So not just earning money, but knowing how to manage it.
Precisely. And, crucially, shared values. Shared values around what life should look like, domestic labor, goals. It's an evaluation of character and contribution, not just a spark.
That focus on contribution, it feels like it shifts the whole power dynamic.
It does.
The demand is really clear. Women want partners, in the truest sense of the word. Not providers and definitely not dependents.
That's spot on. They are bringing their own stability to the table, and they expect that same level of self-actualization and emotional labor in return.
They're looking for a relationship that adds something.
It has to add peace, joy, mutual aspiration, not one that requires them to become a manager or a therapist or a caretaker for another adult.
Right. And if that high bar isn't met, they'll just choose to remain single.
And be perfectly happy with that choice.
We see so much evidence that women actively prefer staying single over settling for a partnership that might drain them mentally or financially.
Or one that forces them into that unequal burden of emotional and domestic labor. Singleness is no longer a waiting room.
It's an active choice.
An active, preferred alternative that preserves their peace and their investment in themselves. And you can see this playing out in modern dating culture.
Oh, absolutely. It's the paradox, isn't it? The dating apps, social media, they theoretically give you endless options.
Endless options, endless disappointment.
Yes, it creates this dating fatigue. When your standards are high, endless options just mean endless filtering.
Endless swiping, endless rejection of mismatched values, and just the exhaustion that comes from it all. So instead of feeling this pressure to pair up, single women are taking that energy.
And pouring it back into their own lives.
Exactly. Investing in their careers, their friendships, their health, their hobbies. They're building this full, robust life, whether a partner ever shows up or not.
And that pursuit of a stress-free, fulfilling life that leads us perfectly into this huge cultural movement we're seeing.
The soft life era.
The soft life era. Tell us about that.
This is a movement that has just captured the cultural imagination, especially online. The soft life is fundamentally about prioritizing peace, well-being, travel, luxury, self-care.
Above the traditional grind.
It's an outright refusal of that grind. It's about rejecting the traditional, often stress-inducing expectations of what success is supposed to look like.
We've all seen it online. The solo travel posts, the women managing their own flexible businesses, focusing on wellness. It's this vision of independence and ease.
And it's a cultural rejection of the second shift.
Explain that.
Well, historically, even if a woman had a demanding career, she was still often expected to come home and manage the bulk of the domestic work, the childcare, the emotional labor.
The second shift.
That's the second shift. And the soft life is a conscious decision to avoid any partnership that imposes that stress. Or worse, requires her to manage an immature or financially irresponsible partner.
So the aspirational vision for the single woman of 2030 is really powerful.
It's very appealing.
She might own her business, travel whenever she wants, date only when it aligns with her goals, and live very comfortably achieving all of this with or without a spouse.
And that's the key. Why would you sacrifice that peace and freedom for a relationship that doesn't significantly enhance the quality of your life?
Right. Now, we have to connect this ambition, this desire for peace, to the wider economic reality, because that ambition is being tested by rising costs globally.
Absolutely. The economic environment is a huge accelerator for this trend. It makes the traditional path of coupling up, well, financially less appealing.
How so?
Rising living costs, the staggering price of housing, student debt, all of this makes adults incredibly cautious about legally binding their financial future to someone else.
So marriage isn't the first step into stability anymore.
No, it's now seen as a reward for achieving stability. For this generation, marriage often comes after both people have reached their own significant goals.
And that loops right back to the high standards we were talking about.
It does. When you're trying to save for a home where the median price is, 6 times your salary, vetting a partner's financial habits isn't just a preference.
It's risk assessment.
It's necessary risk assessment. It's not about needing a man's money. It's about needing a partner who won't introduce financial shortfalls that force you to sacrifice your own goals.
Or sacrifice for a soft life.
Exactly. Financial stability in a partner is seen as a sign of maturity, of foresight, of ambition. Some women are actively seeking that because they refuse to carry the financial burden for someone else's lack of planning.
And all that caution, all that selectivity, it leads directly to that 45% projection.
It's a huge driver.
So what does this all mean? If nearly half of women are projected to be single in just a few years, is long-term partnership just disappearing?
Not at all. I don't think it's disappearing. I think it's undergoing a profound transformation.
Okay.
This statistic, instead of being alarming, I think it actually represents an evolving society where women finally have the freedom to engage in relationships entirely on their own terms.
Based on genuine desire, not structural need.
Exactly. And because of that, we're seeing a complete overhaul of what a relationship model even looks like.
So what might the relationships of the future look like?
Well, we'll likely see a continued rise in couples who live together long-term without ever getting married, choosing commitment without all the legal and financial entanglement.
And marriage itself will probably happen even later.
Much later. Often after both people have fully hit their individual career and financial goals, even parenting is being redefined.
Right, with more IVF, adoption, co-parenting models that exist outside of traditional marriage.
And we can't ignore technology in all this.
Yeah.
I mean, technology influences everything from how we meet people, the potential rise of AI dating tools, to how we manage our single lives. So what really defines the 2030 woman isn't that she's alone, but that she is self-sufficient and highly selective.
She sets standards that reflect her own value. She's rewriting the script.
She is.
And the crucial takeaway here, I think, is that independence does not eliminate the desire for love or connection.
Not at all.
What it eliminates is desperation.
That's it. It removes desperation from the equation entirely.
And that changes everything.
It really does. This shift has the potential to bring about healthier, more robust, and, maybe significantly longer-lasting partnerships. Because they'll be built not on pressure or necessity, but purely on mutual respect, deep emotional compatibility, and a shared purpose.
So society in 2030 will look different.
It will look very different, and the deliberate choices being made by autonomous women today are the single biggest driving force behind that change.
It's an incredible evolution to witness, this focus on quality over just convenience. So here's the final thought for you to take away. If independence removes desperation from the search for love, how might the quality and longevity of our future relationships improve when both people enter a commitment purely by choice and on mutually defined terms? And maybe even more critically, what new pressures will this highly selective dating market place on men? Will they be forced to accelerate their own emotional maturity and communication skills simply to stay competitive in a landscape that's being redefined by the self-sufficient woman? That's something to mull over until our next deep dive.